Tenontosaurus and Ceratosaurus. These will be the main roles of today's story. Tenontosaurus, born in the storm, and darkness, and rain, set off towards the sanctuary, where they quickly could grab the red tasty mushrooms. Because those would endure, they grew the most massive tails possible. After short socialization, Tenontosaurus noticed that this young Rexy man was trying to entice them into some action. But tenos were still little babies. And so the local Paki was the first to set out to investigate the situation, and the babies did same later. And what was suspected soon happened. So Teno with others decided to go back to the safe rock. This trick, using small ones, is older than Embrima itself. The local Peki also had a certain lesser-known trick in reserve. And that turned out to be more than unsuccessful. The T-Rexes will benefit from this artistic performance. Moreover, one of the Tenontosaurus representatives got taken out also. And just like a flock of vultures would do, a pteranodon began to circling our subject. And after a short while, there were two of tenos on the stone again, because they lived on a server where teleportation is common. Later on, the pteranodon tried with feeble attacks to catch the young one. And finally, the moment came when Rexes started to get bored and rolled away. This gave them the opportunity to slip away. Here we see subject number 2, a young male Ceratosaurus. He is starving because he feeds on carrion. However, he was satisfied when he found his favorite treat, a rotten carcass. And while wandering around and looking for others of its kind and some food. So far, he only found problematic stegosaurs. With an animal that has several swords on its tail, he definitely didn't want to fight, let alone with two. So he decided to quickly run somewhere else, where he finds something to eat and a chance to escape from the herbivore. The eerie sounds coming from afar seem to be echoes of the future. But to successfully hunt, you will need to find some partners. And our subject has not been able to do that yet. And he already found some. And now we can witness young males getting to know each other and planning to dominate this territory. As if from a field of water lizards, they crossed this river without any problems. And reached their first victim. This Diablo was already badly injured. Nevertheless, it was still a very dangerous opponent, and the Ceratosaurus were aware of it. succeeded in getting food. And now they had to defend it. Defending the food was very dehydrating. This forced the young man to retreat to this cave for a drink. And it wasn't just our Ceratosaurs who had the idea to refresh themselves in this cave. Stego looked like it would be very tasty to the Ceratosauruses. However, they weren't hungry enough to risk that much. Moreover, their attention was once again shifted to those cheeky dilophosaurs. Our subject would be satisfied with simply driving the Dilophosaurus away, but the Dilophosaurus refused to back off. And our males lived like pigs in a rye. They soon said goodbye and decided to migrate to the next event or to the females. And now let's move back to the representatives of Tenontosaurus. They found this interesting place to relax. The younger of the pair lacked a bit of growth to jump onto a branch, so she was forced to replenish her stamina on the ground, trying to blend in with surroundings. However, the carnivores were not fooled. This threat has been averted, but the scent of blood may attract an even greater threat. Danger lurked behind every bush, even among other herbivore species. Luckily for our Tenontosaurus, it turns out that sometimes mixpackers can be pretty cool. They took advantage of the refreshments that our couple provided them. And before they walked away, one of the T-Rex cast a dramatic look at our subject. However, soon became apparent that some were not so pretty cool. Because they summoned an even bigger T-Rex to bring down our treetop Teno. The pair narrowly escaped certain doom. More than once. And at this point, the best possible solution seemed to be to swim across this river and hope to not be caught by some gator. And Tenontosaurus weren't safe even after crossing the River of Terror. The duo needed to stop and rest as quickly as possible. And they used this cozy cave to do so. So let's hope no one finds them in there. And now let's move from those being hunted to those who hunt. A bunch of bloodthirsty beasts were eager to take down another target. They've already sensed something in their surroundings. Gentros were not thrilled. However, thanks to their sacrifice, the males were able to do their Ceratosaurus things. But peace never lasts long in this world. And this Diablo came to our subject to remind him that and since it turned out that there were many more of these things, the only sensible thing to do was to run. As bloodthirsty and warlike as these beasts might have been, they were more than wary of these herbivores. Our group managed to escape from these demons. And since it's always good to cool off a bit after such a heat, the Ceratosaurus never missed the opportunity to swim. After all, they had nothing to worry about, as these waters were inhabited only by cute duckies. And besides that, there are also very tasty pahis. And as you can see, each server, including this one and the previous one, has its own charms. After a while of waiting and nervously stepping over, one of the pahi decided to take a walk. And Cera guys tried to stuff their navels with something. The Ceratosaurus proudly showed the herbivores their catch, letting them know they would be next. Unfortunately, the obvious difference in speeds really spoiled things for our guys. Here is a clear evidence that the need to bite was unfulfilled. So our group tried to explore whether it would be possible to cross the bridge of death. But it was guarded by a pair of Rexes. And they didn't seem too keen on giving our boys a pass. So the Ceratosaurs returned and were forced to try again to catch the Pachycephalosaurus. And once again, Pachycephalosaurs had their speed in their favor. After all, the young men had now become mature ones, and had to choose carefully who they would fight. And sometimes, unfortunately, it turns out that you can't choose whether to fight at all. And for the Ceratosaurs, it looked like a hungry season was in store. All they could do was wait and hope that they would catch something soon. But one tiny chick won't feed so many full-grown carnivores. After some time, they returned to the place where the T-Rex was oxidizing and cleaned up everything they found. And after another moment, they noticed another representative of their species. And then we find out that it was the same individual who had previously been caught by Rex. And so the original lineup of bloodthirsty beasts reunited. Our subject was only able to steal the Herosaurus bait. because they simply weren't able to catch them up. So they decided to change their field of activity, and we will see how it turns out for them later. The pair of tenos were enjoying their time by jumping over rivers when they noticed a small dinosaurus. For a moment they considered beating him up, but there was a chance that he had a much bigger mother nearby. Tenontosaurus regenerated until the night anyway. And in the cover of the noise of the rain, they tried out what their tails could do. Our subject didn't notice anything in the foreground at all. Fortunately, the younger one did. Our subject also beat up the air around him to make sure. And before long, the Tenontosaurs were just a little bit away from becoming someone's lunch. Therefore, they had to absorb their experiences in peace and on a giant rock. And since the Tenontosaur pair didn't know what to do else, they started to annoy the local apexes. Tenontosaur and Tyrannosaur. In reality, these two species could never meet. They were separated by some 30-40 million years. By the way, Tenontosaurus could not have met any dinosaur from this episode in reality. And unfortunately for our subject, he met Dinosaurus. And what are doing our Ceratosaurus? They waste time chasing away faster dinosaurs and draw attention to themselves by this roaring. Thanks to the stinky mud, our Ceratosaur guys were able to heal their wounds much faster. But in this world, it's also quite likely possible that it was completely pointless. The journey of Ceratosaurus ended, as well as this episode. And I extremely thank you for watching.